Hello, this is Bobby at Hotel TV Repair with what appears to be my third or fourth video for the week, which is a functionality proof of a board that we serviced and it was returned to us with a claim from the customer, different customer every time, that it wasn't working. So I'm showing the paperwork that the board came in with. I will show the board in a second. This video is for the customer and for everybody else who might be interested in what we do and how we handle such requests, and I may inadvertently pass some other useful information related to these or similar boards, but that's not the primary intent here. So this is a Vizio E422 main board, and I'm going to be focusing for a second on the board. I do apologize for the setup. We recently demolded this set because it's not so popular as before. So we moved it to a different place. We haven't organized it on a good stand and everything, so we had to quickly put it in the corner, sit it on the side instead of a stand. You've seen many other videos where we tested. It was the same TV, but we changed it a little bit. Here is the board. Here's our label for when it was serviced before. I'm going to be focusing on some unique markings on the boards, like this one up here, which I don't know who made it, but it's fairly unique. That's not something that can be easily manipulated and put on a different thing. Maybe that's the customer's signature. I don't know, that's our label. Nothing was done to that board since it was here. And what the customer said was request 2. The second request I sent to Capel after repair. And I just received my board from your company despite the hiccup of the receiving the wrong board. We had a mix-up and we sent one board to the customer of another and the other vice versa, for which we did apologize and we did resolve it at our cost. I do apologize again for the inconvenience this caused. It happens once every several months or a year, but it did happen and everybody received their board. So customer says, however, there is no change in the description of my problem, and below is my original message. Subsequently still describes my problem. The message says, powered up one day and TV said no signal. I tried to cycle power and check connections only to have log on screen only, like it was frozen, and TV turned it off and back on, and now no was indicating a blinking power light. That is the same board. Straight out of the box, we didn't do anything. It is about time I show you what we have. This is what we have on the front of the TV, and what I'm gonna do, this is our infrared and power indicator. I'm gonna power it off. So it went off. I'm gonna wait a few seconds because those Vizios do need a few seconds, and I'm gonna power it back on again. Just to see how it goes. So it should be off by now, and when I press, this should enlighten, just like that, and it should show the Vizio on the screen. And there you go. The one thing that this customer may have missed is it does take time for the TV to initialize when it's first connected to AC. And it's just blinking, and it does take extra time for this one for whatever reason. That depends on so many things, mostly I guess how fragmented the memory is. I just reconnected it, so the light came up, and now it's gonna start blinking, and it will blink for 2 or maybe 3 minutes. That's the time it takes to do initial setup. It's not so much setup. What it's doing is it is extracting the firmware from the TV from the NAND flash, which think of it as a hard disk, and places this into the main RAM of the TV, from where it can be executed as one single whole program, which is a whole lot easier than supporting an external hard disk, page fragmentation and everything. And depending on the situation of the RAM and possibly other things that we don't know of, the time it takes to complete this initial setup varies from, say, 40-50 seconds to 122 minutes, 2 minutes and a half. I did not measure it, but it was longer than usual. And it's still blinking, and nobody's changing anything down there. And it's still blinking, and it will be blinking for some time, but I will show just the full process of it doing that so that the customer knows that this is what goes on. It is somewhat unusually long, but as long as this is just once when the TV is first connected to AC, I think it's totally acceptable, and is wiser to not try and optimize that, especially provided we have absolutely no clue what exactly the initialization process goes through. We don't control the firmware. We can't recompile the firmware. We can't. It's not exactly not true that we can rearrange the fragmentation, but it will be basically more risky than rewarding to try and speed up that time. We wouldn't venture into it. That's not the original problem of the TV anyway. So it's still going on, and I didn't count the time. I just noticed the first time before I made the video when I plugged in the board to see whether it was working. It did take more than what I'm usually used to, and because I normally multitask and jump from here to there, I remember returning and it was still doing it. So it's settled. It's off now. If you look this in a video, you will be able to see how it works, but it stopped blinking. Now it's ready to be started, and I can actually start it this time from the power button instead of the remote. So I press. It did lighten up. I don't know how well you can see it. The Vizio logo is on. And in a few seconds, it will start playing. There you go. And that's all that I can show. This is a functional board. Nothing was done to it. If it behaves differently in another TV, then there is a different problem with the set. It's possible that it may be the power. It's possible that it may be something else, although frankly, there isn't that many things that can be causing that. My guess is the customer just didn't wait through the whole process of initialization. That is all. Thank you.